Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at a deck that I originally wasn't going to do, but, well, after some thinking and actual thought process, I thought, well, let's give it a try. So today we're going to be taking a look at Mega Pyroar EX. This is an EX that is actually not that great, but I have actually found a pretty consistent list that I've been working on, and, well, it works a charm, to say the least. So, of course, as per usual, in the description below, there's going to be usual links. Double the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro of what I think of the deck. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Mega Pyroar EX. This is a card that, ironically, I said in a Sibling Sunday, obviously you've not seen that yet, that I wasn't going to do a video on because I thought it was terrible. Yeah, things changed. I built this list and I was like, Jesus, this is insane. This is a really good list. And honestly, I'm quite proud of myself for building it, because in testing, this deck has been a beast. Obviously, there is a few things about it, but, you know, we'll get to that. And to be honest, the deck itself does have a couple of issues, but we'll get to that. So, of course, we have two attacks. We have Ferocious Bellow for a fire and a colourless. And for once, it's not all going to be fire energy, because we do have a dark energy in here, but it's not for what you think it is. Ferocious Bellow does 80 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, attacks used by the defending Pokemon do 50 less damage. Now, that does actually apply to every Pokemon on your board. So, for example, if you have a Dragapult in front of you, and you've obviously done Ferocious Bellow, although you really don't want to, but hey, times could be desperate for all you know. Ferocious Bellow's effect would apply to anything on your bench. So, for example, if you had Fez down, it would take 50 less damage, so Dragapult would only be doing 150 damage. Which, you know, that doesn't help with their math, but because of the dark energy that we're playing, for a reason, that can actually help us. And then, of course, we have Fiery Big Bang for 290 minus, which that does look a bit scary, and we'll get to that in a moment. This attack does 10 less damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Now, if that sort of effect rings a bell, it's the Skeledirge EX from the Scarlet and Violet set that had that attack. Obviously, that was 270, and it was only 2 fire, not 2 fire and a colourless. But obviously, that was on a Stage 2 Pokemon. This is on the Stage 1. So, you know, we are a little bit concerned about that. Plus, we need to be careful of a certain Mega Greninja, but we do have a few answers for that. Obviously, there is a reason for that dark energy, and I've took a bit of inspiration from one of LDF's older lists. He played, I think it was a Mega Charizard list, and he had a 1 Munkidori, 1 dark energy package. And the thought process is actually quite simple. Obviously, you know, we can buff Mega Pyroar's damage, but also we can just heal it, put it on something that we can potentially knock out, like a Badoo or Smoochum or something like that. But then also we can use another card, which Rare TCG was actually quite surprised by it, and he actually gave it a try and recently did a video on it. Because he did a video on Mega Pyroar. But yeah, that is also something we can do. And obviously Munkidori is a damage mod, so if we have any damage counters across the other parts of the board, we could potentially get Mega Pyroar doing 320 damage before any of our damage mods. Speaking of the, shall we say, the problematic child for most of our opponents, we have the new Ninetales, with its Ninetale transfer. Move all damage counters from one of your bench Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. In other words, we're healing Pyroar, so unless they're one-shotting it, which is a very low chance, unless of course it's Mega Greninja, we can one-shot them with this Ninetales. And because it's an effect of an attack, it does do quite a bit of work. Obviously, it can be stopped by the likes of Mist Energy, so that's just something to be mindful of. But the effect will still go through, so you still heal, you just don't do any damage. So that's just something to bear in mind. And well, I'll save the reason for this guy over here once we get to the deck list. Speaking of that, let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. Welcome to the deck list. This has been a really fun deck to test, and I must admit, I'm quite surprised how good it was in testing. Obviously, there is a couple of things you need to figure out for the list. You know, I am debating a second Oricorio, because obviously a lot of our time we're just going to be manually attaching, and obviously, you know, we don't really have a way to accelerate energy other than Oricorio. So I am debating a second copy, but there's a reason why there's not 2, and it's mainly because we have more flexibility, you know. We have the Dunsparce EX as a bit of extra attacking threat. And to be honest, as long as we just get a board set up, we don't need to worry about a second Oricorio. And plus, with it only having 190 HP, it can be quite threatening towards our potential, you know, board state and everything. So we have 3 Vulpix, 2 Ninetales, 3 Dunsparces, 2 Dudunsparces, and 1 Dudunsparce EX. We have 3 Litleos, 2 Mega Pyroars, 1 Oricorio, 1 Fez, 1 Munkidori, 1 Meowth, and finally, 1 Entei. Now this may seem like a very odd inclusion, looking at the attack and everything. Flare Fall does 30, and if you have at least 4 Fire Energy in play, this attack does 90 more damage. The whole idea of this guy is he answers Crustle, he answers Teal Mask, he answers a whole bunch of other stuff that are fire weak, and, you know, it's a pretty nice attacker. The only thing that you need to be careful of is the retreat cost, but that's why we're playing double Air Balloon. But obviously Flare Fall's effect would only realistically be a bad thing if we can't get 4 fires into play. But Entei needs 2 to attack anyway, Mega Pyroar needs 3 to attack, you know, Ninetales needs 1, so, you know, you soon start to see where, you know, the bulkiness comes in. And because he has 140 HP, he can take a hit from a Crustle and not be bothered. And of course we can Munkidori some of that damage off, should they play the likes of Hero's Cape to potentially try and, you know, cause some shenanigans. But Entei's in here to answer a few things, so in testing he's not at the most use, but he's still workable. Then of course we have 4 Lilies, 2 Boss, 2 Petrel, 1 Firebreather, this is mainly for the Oricorio, 1 Black Belt, this is just an extra way to get damage onto the board, and obviously Entei can use it as well if needs be, but obviously mainly it's for the Pyroar, that's why it's in here. Then of course 4 Buddy, Poffin, 3 Ultra Ball, 3 Poké Pad, 2 Night Stretcher, 1 Energy Retrieval, 1 Special Red Card, 1 Energy Search, this is mainly for the Dark Energy for the Monkey, 2 Air Balloon, 1 Maximum Belt, and of course 2 Gravity Mountain, because we are playing a Stage 1 and we want to make sure that Dragapults have a bad day. 8 Fire, 1 Dark. The only thing, like I said, you could consider is a second Oricorio. Other than that, this list has been brilliant in testing. I've really enjoyed playing this list, and I'm really hoping I can get some work done with it today, because, like I say, in testing, this deck's been really good. You know, without any damage counters on it, Fire Big Bang with a max spell is already knocking out most of the metagame, including Mega Lucario. And obviously with the Ninetales, if they fail to one-shot the Pyroar, we can just move the damage right back to them. So this is surprisingly a really fun list, and other than, like I say, the second Oricorio, which you probably could consider, you know, you could probably cut a second, like the third Vulpix. I'm only playing 3 because obviously we do need to set up a Ninetales in most games. But, you know, Vulpix is definitely cuttable. You know, you could cut a Vulpix and I don't think there'd be an issue for a second Oricorio. But honestly, this is a really fun list and I heavily suggest giving it a try. So, let's get to some games and see how we do. And welcome to our first game. We're paired up against someone in the Corviknight rank and we're still Snom from yesterday. I've not played the ladder since Avalug with Mega Bomber Snow. That was yesterday when I recorded that, and I was quite annoyed with the how the games went, to say the least. Like, for the most part, you know, we did have 1 or 2 wins, but yeah, I wasn't happy with how that game went. Well, those games went, to be honest. But you know, that's something to consider at the end of the day. But fresh mind. Mostly fresh brain, because unfortunately it's that time of year where hay fever kicks in, and me no likey that. We only mulligan once. Do start the Fez, which I'm not too bothered about. I can live with that. Now, another card you could consider in here. What the hell is this? Solosis. Flip a coin if this type, if tells us. Okay, is this what deck would be playing this realistically? And just a pass, okay. Oh, in fact, do I have game here? I don't think I do. I mean, I can burn it, but that's all I can realistically do. Entei needs, you know, yeah, we can't donk this. If we played a Fan Rotom, we probably could, because we'd be able to dig for, you know, something, but anyway. So we have prized a Litleo, but I'm not too worried about that. We've got all the Dunsparce, we've got all the Pyroars. We have got a Ninetales in the prizes, but that's nothing to worry about. We've got a Lillie's in the prizes. And we've got the Dark Energy plus a Fire Energy in the prize cards. So we should be okay here. So now I'll go attach to the Fez, and I'm going to double check with Ultra Ball. I can get rid of these without an issue. Do I have Oricorio? Yes, I do. I'm going to grab the Oricorio now, just so I have it. And then Lillie's. I forgot to prize check Oricorio, to be honest, but it's not a big deal. Double Poké Pad is nice. We will just pass there. That is absolutely brilliant. We could double Poké Pad for double the Dunsparce and hopefully get some stuff going. So I'm really interested into knowing what this is. I think I know what this will be, but the fact they didn't bench anything is already like, okay. It's Dewosion. Okay. Cellular Evolution. He's only grabbing the one. Oh, I think the game's just bugged out for him. And there we go. Cellular Evolution. That is a hard word to say when you're half asleep, I will say. Is this, Reuniclus? Is this like a Temu Reuniclus deck? But, anyway. Whilst the Telepathic Psychic Energy hangs out with us a little bit more, don't think I didn't notice that. We're going to go double the Dunsparce. Now, important thing to note, Oricorio only accelerates to Fire Pokemon, and we have to have a Mega in play. Okay, so we'll go for the Runaway Draw. We just need another Fire Energy. I'm going to do this now, so I don't forget. So we can do that. We could Meowth, but it's like, I have a Lillie's in hand anyway, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm going to play this Poffin, fin out that Dunsparce. And then I'm going to Lillie's, and then I'll Dudunsparce. I just need a Fire Energy, and there it is. So then we can Excited Turbo. We can even keep the Fire Energy on the Fez if we want, but I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to go Air Balloon to the Vulpix. We will then retreat into the Pyroar. And I'm actually going to use Ferocious Bellow, because I don't know what they're planning. So down that goes, and that fixes the Telepathic Psychic Energy bug. But now you can kind of see why I'm debating second Oricorio, because it can enable things like that. But still, I'm not too worried about what my opponent's planning here. I mean, I've seen no evidence of anything like, you know, scary. Academy at Night, Neo Upper Energy. What the hell are you cooking? Okay, so let's have a look. Look at the top 8 cards of your deck. You may put any number of Pokemon you find now into your bench. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So hold on, this is Temu Tatsugiri. Summoning Gate. Okay, let's see what they get. They just put something on the top of the deck. Oh, okay. We've got ourselves a tech answer, have we? That's fine. I can most definitely deal with this. Alright, so let's think about this. So I need to boss that, but I need to, you know, do something first. So let's go Ultra Ball. We'll get rid of a Litleo and a Black Belt. I don't think we're going to need Black Belt in this game. Now I could grab the Entei, but obviously I need to, you know, get it set up first. But actually no, Entei's a perfect knockout. So I'm going to grab my Entei. So then I'll Runaway Draw. Okay, that opens up a bench spot. That's good. Then I can Exit Turbo to the Entei, and I'll Lillie's for 6. I was going to say, I just need an Air Balloon. We've got the energy in the discard pile. I can't boss the Sylveon, but I can answer it, which is good. So I'm going to go Night Stretcher, grab back that Fire Energy. I'll then do that to the Entei. I'm going to bump their stadium. I don't have to for the knockout, but I might as well. I'm going to Poké Pad for that Dudunsparce again and get it evolved. And then we will Flare 4 for 120, take out the Reuniclus. See, we have an answer for Sylveon. Entei's not just a gimmick in this deck, folks. I'll tell you that for nothing. And I didn't even notice we priced Munkidori. I know we priced the Dark Energy, but not the Munkidori. That's wild. Like, he thinks this is gonna bother me. It really isn't. Like, genuinely, it's not gonna bother me. There's Runaway Draw. Like I said, that was just Ninetales CRI. I don't care what anyone says. There's a Meowth. So what's he going to grab off of this? Probably a Lillie's just to refresh his hand, because his hand seems pretty dead even with 8 cards. I'm more interested to know, like, why he didn't thin more with Telepathic. Maybe he prized a bunch. Would be my guess. But like I say, Entei isn't just here for a gimmick. He has multiple... And plus, he's my favourite of the legendary dogs. I'm sorry if anyone's offended by that. I've always preferred Entei. I think it was in the Zoroark movie from like 2000 and... Oh god, when was that film? I'm showing my age now, but yeah. Entei's always been my favourite, you know. When Entei V was in the format, I like playing Entei V. When Entei V rotated, I still have a miscut card, and well, my opponent's just going to scoop it up. I don't blame him. Entei and Mega Pyroar for the win. We'll take that. I'm happy with that. Let's go to game 2. And welcome back to game 2. I was just claiming a bunch of rewards after that, because we just got into Gyarados rank. And officially the Poké League, as it said. Yeah, I'm not really bothered. But no, that first game perfectly demonstrates why this list is more, you know, focused on, obviously, you know, the healing, the Dunsparce, but also I have the Entei as a potential answer to what I need. Obviously, like I said, the second Oricorio is probably something you should consider, but, you know, you can afford to take it slow. You don't have to rush in immediately, but probably second Oricorio might be something you consider, but like I say, I've been pretty lucky with my pricing, so, you know, that's something. And to be fair, if you're worried about playing a singular Oricorio, you can go first, but still. We're obviously going second in this game, but we don't have a basic Pokemon. If we did, this would be a pretty okay hand, because obviously we can get a turn attachment, we can Lillies, you know, that sort of thing. But no, like I say, the Entei's not just here for a gimmick. It's not just here because I want to play an Entei card. It's here because of the meta, the way it is right now, with obviously, you know, Crustle, Teal Mask, you know, cards like that. But even with the damage mods, Entei can hit 170, which means, you know, that one-shot's pretty much anything. Okay, starting to Fez again. I'm getting a bit of deja vu, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. I can at least attach retreat the Fez. It's not a big deal. We won't be able to use Cruel Arrow in this deck, but I'm not going to lose sleep over that. And plus, the Firebreather is only really here for a gimmick, to be honest. When I say a gimmick, it's more here for the Pyroar with, you know, the Oricorio. It's just an extra way to thin the deck. You could probably cut this, to be brutally honest, but, you know, I've just kept it in the deck just in case. And just an attach pass from the Solrock. And that is fine. So we're going to attach to the Fez, bench of Vulpix. I'm just going to Lillies. I'm not going to. I don't need to discard anything right now. Ooh, that's bad. Ooh, okay. Well, if he uses a couple of damage mods, we could actually go with Ninetales if we can find a Ninetales. Risky Ruins with a Solrock? What could this be? Could this be Blood Moon Ursaluna, maybe? That's my only thought. I'm thinking Blood Moon Ursaluna, as in the single prizer, the fighting type. That's my only thought process when it comes to this guy, that's my thought. There's a Fighting Gong for a Lunatone, so they can get some draw and can get an attack off. There's Risky Ruins prong in there, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's what I'm facing here. And yeah, they're just going to Cosmic Beam for 70. That's fine. I'm not really worried about that. What I am worried about... Okay, there's a Poké Pad, so we can actually do something here. I am worried about this board state, though. But we can Petrel for a Buddy Poffin and get started. No, not you. As much as I love you, Lillie, I'm afraid I can't have you right now. So, let's see. Have we got Oricorio in deck? Oricorio's in deck. We have got Ninetales in the deck as well. We can heal this Fez if we want. but I might just leave it in the active because I'm not too worried about that. We have also prized 2 Dunsparce, which is a concern. But again, I'm not too worried. Okay, so we'll Energy Search. I might thin the dark here. Yeah, we've got Monkey in deck. Can I take a knockout here? No, not with the plan anyway. So let's go for Poké Pad. We'll grab our Monkey, and we can establish our Monkey and heal the Fez a little bit. So we can definitely do that. I'll Adrenabrain, put it on a Lunatone, put some pressure on. I think from here, I just pass. If he has a boss for, you know, the Dunsparce or the Litleo, we could potentially be in trouble here. But hopefully I could just start healing my board and taking out his draw engine. I suspect, though, like I said, I'm up against Blood Moon Ursaluna, which is quite a trouble and could be a problem for us, but we'll soon find out. Yeah, I definitely think we are, because, you know, I'm seeing a lot of evidence towards it. Obviously, Monkey is going to be putting in some serious work, and yeah, he's going to boss the Litleo. Come on, I can't even have a bit of fun. Oh, this is why I hate PTG Live. People just don't want you to have fun. You know, you had every other target to go for, but no, you have to harm the cute little Litleo. Meanie. What a mean man. This man is mean, that's all I'm saying. What did that cute little face ever do to you? I don't know, but still, at this rate, we might be sniping with the Fez, which is not the worst thing in the world, to be fair. Okay, there's Max Belt. I'm going to Night Stretcher back that Litleo, because I need it. So then I'll, once that prongs, I'll Adrenabrain. I'll just put it on his Monkey, I guess. I could attach the Fez. Like, Fez is realistically what my target's going to be. And I think I'm going to boss their Lunatone. I'm going to keep Air Balloon in hand, because I might have to just start Fez attacking here, to be brutally honest, and just start sniping. If he gets second Monkey established with Dark Energy, we are in trouble, because he can start, you know, picking off my board. I'm hoping he doesn't have that, but no, my luck, he probably does. But then we do get Fez value, so that's something. There's Lillie's. Yeah, we've not had a great start this game, but to be fair, we've seen, what, one draw supporter? Like, you know, we've not really seen much. But, you know, this is how PTG Live is sometimes. Fighting Gong for a Fighting Energy. He's going to try and draw into a Dark, which is concerning. But I'm hoping if I top deck another Energy, I can start attacking with Fez. And hopefully Fez will be able to put some pressure on and take out their Monkeys and stuff. There's their Fez, but obviously we haven't taken a knockout. Please whiff the Dark Energy. I don't want you moving any more damage around, to be honest. I just need an energy of some degree, and I can attack with the Fez and go from there. See, I knew it would be you. You must think I was born yesterday. But it looks like he can only attach one for turn, which is alright. But obviously he does have Crispin. No, he's got the second Dark. No! He's going to bully my Litleo, and if he keeps bullying my Litleo, I don't really have an option here. Oh, that's annoying. The fact that he got that second Dark. Come on. That's frustrating. That is really frustrating. He's now going to Adrenabrain take up my Litleo again, because that's all he's been going for. He's just been targeting the Litleo. Heaven forbid a player actually has fun in this game. But yeah, he's going to take out Litleo. No, he's taking out Dunsparce? No, that's not your target, surely. No way is that your target. I don't think that's correct. That definitely shouldn't be your target. Why is he spreading it out like that? That's so weird. I think we might just have to evolve to Mega Pyroar and just deal with it. I think he's playing around giving me Fez value here, and that is annoying. I need a top deck of an energy, and I need it now. That is a Ninetales, but I can't do nothing with it. I could evolve Mega Pyroar, but then that just feels bad. I'm just going to scoop it up. We're just not doing anything right now. We're just bricking and just top decking nothing, so yeah. kind of annoying, but that's what can happen with a Dudunsparce engine, unfortunately. It's a lot more reliant on pieces than you think. Let's go to a game 3. Like I say, unfortunately, I just never got to use Fez. Fez sniping would have actually helped us there, because we would have put more pressure on them. But, you know, it's my luck after all. We have one fun game, and then PCG Live kicks me in the knackers, as it usually does, but still, we'll live with it. And let's not start Fez this time, it's a one-off, please. Okay, I'll accept that. I'll start the Litleo, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I chose this one not because of its QR, although that is a thing. There is another one with a... I think it's got a second attack that does like 50, but the first attack both does 10. But this one could do it with a colourless, the other one can't, I believe. So that's why I went with this one, because, you know, it can at least do something in that regard. But yeah, it's looking like a turn 2 Mega Pyroar Ferocious Bellow at this rate, but I can live with that. You know, as long as we just don't get donked by a Solrock engine, we should be okay in that regard. Teal Mask. Okay, let's see what we can get. Yeah, it's looking like a turn 2 Mega Pyroar Ferocious Bellow, which is annoying because this is Fire Week. But I could always, you know, Meowth for Black Belt. That is an option. I could do that if it's in the deck, of course. I could also go for Petrel and get Max Belt. But I could take this out going second, well, on my second turn if I wanted to. Okay, bug catching set. Celebi, interestingly. He's going to retreat that. He's going to go into Celebi, isn't he? Yeah, okay, that's fine. And Traverse Time. Search your deck for any, or up to 3 in any combination of Grass Pokemon and Stadium cards. Reveal them, put into your hand, and then shuffle the deck. That's a problem. Well, that is a big problem. Okay, there's the Lilies for 8, and he gets Traverse Time. That is crazy. So let's see what he grabs. I suspect I'm facing Hydrapple. Which, if I am, I will just go Ferocious Bellow, take out the Celebi. And yeah, he's going to grab the entire Meganium line, that's fine. Okay, I think that's what I do here. Okay, I don't need to Meow for it, that's fine. So we'll do that, and then Lilies for 8. I need to get a board set up here. Excellent, that's what we want. So let's go for double Dunsparce. We have prize a Litleo, because now I can actually do a proper prize check. Let's have a look. So we've got all the Duns in there, Mega Pyroar, Munkidori, Oricorio, Ninetales are all in there. Our damage mods, even though we probably won't need them in this matchup, but, you know, never say never. We've got no fires in the prize cards, which is good. So that's something. And yeah, I'm just going to Ferocious Bellow for 160, take out the Celebi, and we'll take 50 less damage during the next turn. But, well, in fact, no, we won't, because I've just knocked out the defending Pokemon, but whatever. I don't know if it applies. I would assume no, if it's, you know, I've just knocked them out, but still, it's fine. So they had the Forest already. They could do some serious damage here, but that's kind of why I want to set up the Ninetales, just so we have it ready. But I might play around the Teal Mask damage as much as I can, because then I can go Meowth for Black Belt, because Black Belt was in the deck, and I can actually take out a Teal Mask with just Ferocious Bellow, so I don't have to put a third energy on for Fiery Big Bang. Which is a good thing, because that does actually help us. But we'll soon find out. I need to get potentially Oricorio established, but that probably won't be till later. Let's flip the script. I mean, I could always just smack them with Fiery Big Bang, but it's like, that's kind of bad if they can get enough energy on the board. But still, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go along. Because like I said, we have the Ninetales to heal the Pyroar. There's Meowth, but haven't they just support for turn? I swear they have. I wasn't really paying attention. No, they haven't. They can play Lilies, that's fine. Okay. Like I said, I'm only really worried about the Hydrapple, because the Hydrapple can easily knock out a Mega Pyroar. He's going to attach for turn. I don't know how much damage he's doing, but I'm going to assume quite a bit. 210, yeah. Right. Well, in that case, we would like to go... Well, that's a good start. I actually want to go for Ninetales this turn, because then I can retreat the Pyroar, I can Energy Retrieval, put it on there. Yeah, I think that's what we do here. So, let's go for Ultra Ball, discarding Dunsparce and probably the Vulpix. So we can grab ourselves a Ninetales, because now we're healing exactly the damage that we need, and we can go from there. So then we will retreat the Pyroar into the Ninetales. I'll Energy Retrieval, get these boys back. I can then Poké Pad for a Dunsparce. Evolve. Attach. Do I want to Petrel this turn? I don't have to, but I might as well. I can always just Petrel for Lilies, and I think that'll be fine. Because I'm taking out this 2 ASC here and denying them any prize cards. So, I think that's fine. We just grab Lilies. I could obviously Meowth for it, but then I'm putting another 2 prizer in play. But there, we'll Ninetale transfer, take out the Teal Mask. That's part of the deck. We've got to use it. But that's why this is in the deck. And obviously there's Entei, so Entei's going to be good in this matchup. But yeah, that's why Ninetales is in the deck. It's literally for that, you know? We need it for that, so that's exactly why we do it. They're going to Till Dance, they've evolved a Diplin. They need to try and find their Hydrapple. But if they don't have a boss, we could be okay here. And even then, if they do 330 damage, we just move it right back, so I'm not really fussed. They have to deal with Ninetales, because if they damage the Pyroar, I just do exactly what I did to them there, and just do it again, you know? They need to answer it. They can't just keep leaving it alive. And also, Entei, with a damage mod, can actually take out Hydrapple. It can take it out with Max Belt, which we know is in deck. So I can always Meow for second Thingy-Bob and go from there. But let's see what they do, because we do have a lot of draw available to us next turn. But we can take out this Hydrapple next turn. There is a good chance we take it out. He's got Petrel. Hopefully not for a special red card, because that'd suck. Okay, no, it's the bug catching set. That's fine. But even though we have finite coverage, we still have to play this very carefully because of the, you know, the fact it's a Hydrapple, and also the fact we're playing a Mega Pokemon, not an EX. So that's something to bear in mind. But there we go. Syrup 270, they take out the Ninetales. That is completely fine. If we can get a damage mod, I will use Entei as my attacker this turn. So let's see. There's special red card. That's not going to be helpful right now. So I'm going to bench Entei. I'm going to bench the Fez because we already have Lilies in hand. Do I attach... I'm going to play it safe, attach to Pyroar. Because I can Dudunsparce into another Dudunsparce. So that's fine. I'm going to Lilies first, because then we see the most amount of cards. Okay, that's good. So let's Fez first, because that's a guaranteed 3. This Ultra Ball. So that does get us what we need here. Wait, can we take the knockout with Entei? No, we're an energy short. In fact, no, can we? Hold on. No. Could I do it with damage without damage mod? I can. I can bump their stadium so they go down to 300. So then the Dunsparce. There's the fire energy that we needed. Excellent. So we'll promote the second Dunsparce. Ultra Ball away, Munkidori, because we're not going to need that, and a Night Stretcher. I believe we had Oricorio. We did. Excellent. We can actually do it with Entei. Right. So we go Max Spell to Entei, Oricorio to the Entei and the Pyroar. So we do that. We can then run away draw again, which gets us an Energy Search, but I'm not bothered about that. And now we could go Flare Fall for 340 damage and take out the Hydrapple. That is brilliant. My tech attacker is pulling his weight severely. That is brilliant. But he has to answer Entei. Even if he knocks out the Pyro, I don't care, because I can dig for another fire. That was brilliant. Rare TCG, mate, try this card in this list. It's underrated. I didn't think it was going to work in this list. But, you know, Flare Fall, Max Belt, we had even Black Belt available if we needed to. You know, we have so many options in this matchup. But no, that was brilliant. My Tech Attacker is pulling his weight severely. I don't think they can hit Pyroar for enough damage. I don't think. But even then, they have to answer the Entei and hope I don't have another fire, but I know for a fact I do. So my opponent just loses here, no matter what they do. If they Gust the Pyroar, they can take 3 prizes, and they can potentially, you know, shut down Entei's damage. But even then, I have Boss for game on the Meganium with Flare. In fact, no, I don't actually. But even then, I have Fez Draw, I have, you know, Energy Search in hand. You know, I have Lilies, you know, I don't need to worry here. But this may, like I said, seem like a gimmick, but it has its value. There's the Ultra Ball. I don't think he has Gust. I think he has to just kill Entei and hope I don't have an energy. And yeah, he's just going to scoop it up. The Entei put him in that position. That is brilliant. I really enjoyed that game. That just proves exactly the value of not only weakness in this format, but also having a single prizer that can pull its weight. Yes, we had to use a damage mod, but at the end of the day, we got the job done. We didn't need to put down the stadium. I was only really doing that to bump their stadium, force them to find more. But Entei, you proved your worth there, mate. Let's go to game 4. And welcome back to game 4. That was a really fun game there against Hydrapple. Entei pulling his weight. We haven't even needed to use the Big Bang attack, which is, to be fair, that was mainly to play around the Teal Mass and make them work a bit harder. But honestly, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that game. We will go first again, because why not? But no, that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. And we start Fez, and we're going first. Okay, that's quite shaky, Chief, but we'll gloss over it. It's fine. We'll cope, as the kids say. We can go Air Balloon to Fez attached to Litleo. We're fine here. It's fine. You know, I'm fine with this. You know, this is not a big deal. Ooh, Ceruledge. They're 270 HP, aren't they? If I remember rightly. So let's go for a Ninetales and a Night Stretcher discard. We will grab ourselves a Litleo. We have prize 1, but I'm not bothered about that. I've got all the Duns. Entei is there, but sadly he's not going to have his value in this matchup. Oricorio is in there. Obviously, we just discarded that Ninetales. We've got a Lilies in hand. We've got a Petrel in hand. We've got a couple of Buddies in the prizes, which could be a problem for setup. But other than that, we've only prized 2 Fire Energy. So I'm not really worried about that. So we'll go attach to Fez with the Air Balloon. Do that, and pass. Easy peasy. But yeah, honestly, I think Entei is the MVP of this deck, like secret MVP. You know, like I said, I didn't put it in for a laugh. I put it in because it answers a couple of matchups that this deck would struggle with. You know, Crustal is already a nightmare as it is. You know, yes, you could obviously play Moltres in the case of the Teal Mass decks, but you know, I would need. To be fair, I could have done it with Moltres. Actually, I could have done that KO on that Hydrapple with Moltres. I'd have needed to have put down the Stadium though, so I'd have needed Stadium. But obviously with Max Belt, it does 320 with its damage and stuff. So I actually could have done it with Moltres, but I would need more to do it. Really? You're gonna boss my Litleo? Why is it when people bully this little guy? Come on! Oh, you have to be some absolute spammer to do that, man. Like, bruh. You had the boss. Come on. Right, well, anyway, let's go for Lilies and try and set on my board again. Okay, well, right. I'm annoyed now because he's just done that, but anyway. Alright, flip the script. I would have liked another one set up, to be brutally honest. I am actually going to put down a Vulpix. I think that's fine. And I'm just going to pass. If you have second boss for that Litleo, I'm going to strangle you through the screen. I'm joking, don't worry. But, Yeah, I really do think people need to try the Entei. The judge is fine. It's annoying because I had quite a few setup pieces. Okay, I can work with that. We can Ultra Ball away the top deck plus the boss. And we can actually get something established here. So that's good. Because we can go Poké Pad. In fact, we can actually go Ultra Ball plus the top deck and the boss for double to Dunsparce and just start drawing cards, which I'm happy to do that. You know, we see 6 cards that way. Although I could just go for a Lillies and just do that instead, but, you know. At least they didn't have a boss this time for my lone put. Why do people bully this Litleo? Like, it's cute. Don't be mean. Alright, let's see what we got off the top. Entei. Well, sorry, buddy. You're not good in this matchup. I mean, you're technically good as a single prize attacker, but, well, unfortunately, mate, I don't need a single prize attacker. So we're going to go Poké Pad for done. I'm not going to reveal Mega Pyroar just yet, although I'm sure they come with that. Okay, that's concerning. Runaway draw. There's Firebreather. We can't do it yet. We can Petrel now. I'm going to Poké Pad for that Dunsparce again. Because we can Petrel now for... Actually, no, we don't need to grab Oricorio right now. I could just grab Buddy and then set up my board more, which I'm happy to do so. But then I'm not leaving myself room for Meowth. I think I just take a Lillies, because the issue is, well, in fact, no, I've got Meowth, but I don't really want to put Meowth down. So yeah, I'm just gonna take a Lillies for now. And to protect it, I'm gonna put down the Pyroar, and I'm gonna pass. There is obviously a risk with this play, because if they do gust the Pyroar, I can't kill this with Big Bang, well, Fire Big Bang. I'm just gonna call it Big Bang Theory. Like, if you've ever watched the show, I'm sure most of you have. If you haven't, good show. But yeah, it's one of those things. I kind of have to put it down, but at the same time, I need to be very careful. But hopefully, because they are kind of bricking, because it's Ceruledge in this day and age, this could be our advantage here. We could be okay here. There's an Ultra Ball. Getting rid of 2 energy, as is standard for Ceruledge. What are they going to grab off of this? I mean, they could grab Solrock, because I'm very close to attacking with this. Oh, they've got the Drober. That's bad. That's not good. That'll get them to 6 energy in the discard pile, so that's 150 with the Ceruledge. They could actually knock out the Fez here, which is annoying, but I can deal with that. It's not a major deal. But I don't like the fact that they could do that. Do they see that line, though? Because they may not see it. That's the thing. They may not see that line. I think they see the line. Yeah, this Drober is actually really nice, and it's a solid card in this deck. You know, I think you should be playing this. Ooh, the Legacy Energy. That's naughty. Ooh, that's bad. I don't like the Legacy here. Oh, I do not like that. That is bad. Oh, that is not good, because that really affects our prize map now. Because he's gonna go down. He's gonna go down to 3 prizes. Oh, this is naughty. I do not like that. Okay, this is gonna be a problem then. I mean, we can potentially do something, but I am not happy. This is not good. Well, I'm just gonna straight up rip the Lillies. Okay, we have something here. That's good. We can respond to this, which is good. It's like, all that they don't need a lot to respond to us and, you know, put our Pyroar basically out of commission, which is a bad thing. So I'm going to grab second Litleo, and I'm going to grab a second Dunsparce. Now, I can Ultra Ball away you and you. I don't even think I can get the attack off this turn. That's the concerning thing. I would need to rip 2 fire energy off of this Dunsparce. Well, that's part of it, but yeah, I can't really do anything here. Oh, this is not good. I mean, I could just feed them a sacrifice of Vulpix. But if they have Gust for the Oricorio, we basically just lose here. So I'm going to go Air Balloon here. I can then Excited Turbo to the Pyroar. And I'll pass. Not really a lot I can do here, unfortunately. Vulpix is probably the bad choice, but I can just set up another. It's not a major deal, but, you know, I can have another Vulpix set up for next turn. So I'm not worried in that instance, but, yeah, this is not good. This is really not good. Because, like, even with, you know, like, the fact that they got that early Gust with the Cosmic Beam was what has kind of set us back quite a bit. So I've just got to hope now they whiff boss, because if they kill Oricorio, we're as good as dead. There's no putting it like any simpler way. Because if they kill Oricorio, they get into one prize. I'm only taking one prize on this. Watchtower, are you kidding me? You've even teched? Bro. Oh, this is not good. So we just need to hope now we're not disrupted. Because I would need Meowth to get me out of this. I mean, we have a Lillie's, but I'm just saying if we get hand disrupted. But this is bad. This is really bad. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But they just win with boss anyway, so, you know, we lose either way. I'm just going to promote the Pyroar and just hope for the best. Okay, well, Black Belt's training is useless to us. So let's go for the Lillies. Okay, well, we can evolve it anyway. We can't use the ability, but that is okay. So now we'll Special Red Card. We will attach Dark, because that way we can still use Oricorio. And then we'll go 1, 2, split it up like that. And then we will Fiery Big Bang for 290 and take out the Ceruledge. We only take one prize card, though, because of the Legacy. Alright. There's Monkey. There's a reason why I've not used the Dark for Monkey, like reserved it for Monkey. At the end of the day, I can get multiple things set up here, so that's kind of why I did it. The only thing we need to consider now is we will have to retreat this Pyroar manually into Vulpix. But we can do that, you know, we're not in a major worry here. As long as they're hitting at least 270 with that attack this turn, if they can do it, we should be okay. Because then we can go retreat the Pyroar into the Vulpix and try and dig for a Ninetales. But the problem is we can't really do that. Oh, they've got a retreat. That's a retreat. They can't do anything. Right, well, we're bossing that and we're using Ferocious Bellow. That's fine. I can do that. That is completely fine. In fact, no, is it actually correct to do Ferocious Bellow here? Because, hold on, how much damage are they doing? So, it's 20 times for each. They're doing 250 right now. So if I do that, that disrupts our Vulpix strategy. So no, I use Fiery Big Bang this next turn. Okay, that's fine. I can do that. It doesn't really matter which Charcadet we kill. So, you know, that's something to consider. Well, there's the Dunsparce. I'm not going to bench this Monkey. I'm just going to boss one of the Charcadets. And Fiery Big Bang. That's what I need to do. I just need to take out their Charcadets before they evolve. There's a Fire Energy. So that does help. That does help for later, so that's good. Obviously, we can't Meowth for another boss, which is... Well, to be fair, we're out of bosses now, but, you know, they may not know that. But yeah, this isn't looking good. I think that Special Red Card has just absolutely disrupted them, which is really good. But we need to try and find either a Stadium Bump or we need to find a Ninetales in this next couple of turns. Because at the minute, we're not really doing anything. We're just, you know, going through their active and hoping for the best. Oh, they've got the Fez. That's not good. That is not good. I mean, they've got the Fire, so that's 270. They could even hit it this turn. That's the concerning part. We've not seen their ace spec, and if it's what I think it is, we just lose here. This is not good. This is not good. They still have Fez, so they can potentially still draw into something here. In fact, I'd have already used Fez. What am I on about? Ignore me. Tired brain from playing all these great games. Apart from the first one, but, you know. That's just something to bear in mind. They're going to judge. That's fine. Let's see what we get off to judge. There's Gravity Mountain. There's Petrel. Petrel does get us a Ninetales. Because we can Night Stretcher for 1. In fact, no, we're not. We can't. We're out of Night Stretchers. But we can Petrel for the thingamabob, a Stadium Bump. He's going to go for the Badoo. Okay, interesting choice. But you've already judged, so you can't do anything like that. I think I know why he's trying to do this. Okay, well, I'm going to bump this Stadium so I can actually do something now. I think... Let's play it safe and then again, what does Petrel get me? Because I know for a fact I'm out of boss. I'm going to draw, see what we draw into. Okay, that's fine. What do I do here? I mean, I could just take out this Badoo with Ferocious Bellow, but then if they have the knockout with the... because it actually helps... What they've just done there is actually helping their math, which is a problem. I'm going to play Petrel, I think. Okay, let's have a look at the deck, see what I've got left. Monkey's in there, but we need to be very careful about our resources right now. I think... Do I just thin the max belt just to get it out? I'm just going to thin the max belt, I think. So we've already got a tool on that. I'll just plonk it on the active. It doesn't hugely matter. So I'm just trying to think. So that's 260, 290. They would only need 2 more energy in the discard pile to actually do anything here. So I think what I'll do is I'll retreat the Pyroar, get rid of the Dark and the Fire, go into the fresh one, and we'll Ferocious Bellow. Because what we're doing now is we're trying to play around the fact that they just did that 10 damage, because that is relevant. So hopefully they don't have it. I'm hoping they don't, but obviously now they have Fez draw. Of course they find the Lilies off the top deck. Why wouldn't they? Yeah, this is really concerning. Plus, why am I saying the ace spec that I thought it was? It was Legacy from earlier, but anyway. So like I say, our main strategy now is we need to find our last Ninetales, because if they don't get the knockout here, which I don't think they can, at least I don't think so, that's 260, 290. If we can do that, we should be able to win based on that, because they don't have another Charcadet established. But then they could just win with, you know, some degree of boss. No, don't tell me you win because of a second Drober that you really shouldn't be playing. He whiffed. He whiffed. That's good. That's good for us. That's good for us. He whiffed. That's good. That's good. But he could still have boss. That's my main worry. But then again, he just Lilies. So yeah, he can't take the knockout. That's 290. Okay. We could still win here. That isn't it. We need to Lilies and hopefully hit the Ninetales. That's not the Ninetales. No! Hold on, hold on. We can actually knock out the sledge here. So if we go Energy Retrieval, we're fine, we're fine. We're not in a major concern here. We go Excited Turbo. We do that. I'll bench one of these. Retreat into the fire a Big Bang. 340, well 330, sorry, because of the 10 damage minus. All I've got to do now is hope they don't have boss plus energy for Solrock. That's my only hope. And judging by that immediate promotion, I think they have it. Which is a real shame, because this is actually a tough matchup for us. Well, they've got the Night Stretcher, but I've not seen the boss, and they've probably got 1 or 2 left. Do you have the boss, good sir? Ultra Ball, so that probably means he's got it with Meowth, but I'll wait to see if it is. Has he got a Meowth? Because if he doesn't, I'm not going to click concede. I don't think you have a Meowth. He could still fez into it, though. That's the thing. He could still fez into it. He needs to thin something out the deck. It doesn't matter what it is. He needs to try and max his chance on getting fez. That's what he needs to do here, because he can win with boss. Yeah, he's doing the right thing. So he needs to fez into his his next boss. If he has it, he has it. Come on, whiff your boss, and that's game. I did not think we was going to win that against Ceruledge. That was really tough, but Mega Pyroar managed to pull through. That is brilliant. That was a really good game. Thanks for that game, Spectro05. That was absolutely brilliant. Wow, that was really fun. And I've really enjoyed these games today, apart from the first one, because, well, we didn't really get to do much. But, you know what? This deck has really proved its value, and I'm really happy it worked. I didn't think I was going to make a deck video on this card, but, wow, I'm impressed with this. This was really fun. So, what did I think to the deck? This deck was really fun to play. Like, we didn't get to run into any Mega Greninjas to stomp on them with, you know, Max Belt Grab Mountain or Max Belt Black Belt, you know, that sort of thing. But the fact that we was able to just, you know, keep up with certain matchups that well, and, you know, the Dunsparce engine was really good, you know, having access to all the draw was really good with the Fez and the Lilies and stuff. And obviously the Duns, once we was able to get rid of that bloody stadium. You know, I think this deck is as best as it can be. The only thing you should add is a second Oricorio, because there are going to be times where you prize that Oricorio and your energy acceleration just tanks completely. But other than that, this list was so fun to play. I've had an absolute blast playing this list, and I'm so glad that my cooking has not gone to waste. But anyway, I'm going to leave it all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Mega Pyroar with the Dunsparce engine, and I'll see you next time.